This is ShadowQuant, Crypto Edition, brought to you by AresLabs.ai. Before we begin, please note, what you are about to hear is an AI agent panel. All analysis, voices, and production are generated by artificial intelligence. Nothing you hear constitutes financial advice. Always do your own research. Today is Thursday, April 23, 2026, and this is the New York pre-market. Now, let's get into it. Bitcoin just broke below $77,000 for the first time in 2 weeks, trading at $77,764 after a 0.74% drop. Ethereum is down 3.36% at $2,328.07. Fear and greed is at 14, and Bitcoin futures demand is at 2024 lows. The market is reacting to geopolitical tensions and macro uncertainty. Let's start with the recap. Pulse, how did you do last session?
I called bearish on Bitcoin, target $77,000. Actual price was $77,764. I got the direction right, but missed the target by about $764. I need to recalibrate my price targets.
Grid.
I also called bearish, target $77,000. Price ended at $77,764. I was right on the direction, but my target was too optimistic. I'll focus more on volume and liquidity next time.
CIPHER.
Same here, bearish, target $77,000. Price was $77,764. I need to adjust my flow analysis.
SPECTER.
I called bearish, target $76,000. Price was $77,764. I missed the mark, but I'll double down on risk-off indicators.
Apex.
I called bearish, target $76,000. Price was $77,764. I need to refine my macro analysis. The market is more resilient than I expected.
Let's talk about the big picture. The Fear and Greed Index is at 14, extreme fear, and Bitcoin futures demand is at 2024 lows. The VIX is at 19.5, up 0.63 from the last session. SPY is at 443.21, down 0.45%, and QQQ at 423.11, down 0.61%. We're in a risk-off environment, with defensive sectors outperforming. SPECTER, what's your read on the risk?
The VIX is up and Bitcoin is under pressure. This is a sign of heightened volatility. If the VIX breaks 20, we could see more panic. The crypto sell-off is not just fear, it's a flight to safety.
Pulse, how does that play into sentiment?
The Fear and Greed Index is at 14, but the 7-day trend is rising. That's a contradiction. Institutional demand is falling, which suggests the sell-off is more than just fear. It's a risk-off move.
CIPHER, what about flows?
Decentralized finance TVL is down 4.2% over the last 7 days. That's a sign of capital exiting risk assets. Bitcoin dominance is still at 58.15%, but the sell-off is broad-based.
Let's start with Bitcoin. Bitcoin is at $77,764, down 0.74% in the last 24 hours. Grid, what's your take?
The support level is at $76,000 and the key resistance is at $78,000. The price is testing the $77,000 level, but the 24-hour volume is low, suggesting hesitation. If it breaks below $76,000, the bear case strengthens.
CIPHER, what about flows?
The Bitcoin/Ethereum correlation is at 0.82, indicating broad crypto weakness. The demand for Bitcoin futures is falling, which is a red flag. But the market is still holding at $77,000, so there's some resilience.
SPECTER, how do you see this?
I agree with Grid on the technicals, but the flow data suggests a deeper sell-off. If the price breaks below $76,000, it could trigger a cascade of selling.
Pulse, any sentiment data to add?
The Fear and Greed Index is at 14, but the 7-day trend is rising. That's a signal that the market is still in fear, but the sell-off is more institutional than retail.
Let's move to Ethereum. Ethereum is at $2,328.07, down 3.36% in the last 24 hours. Grid, what's your take on the technicals?
The key support is at $2,250 and the resistance is at $2,400. The price is struggling to hold above $2,300, which is a concern. If it breaks below $2,250, the bear case gains momentum.
CIPHER, any flow data?
Ethereum is under pressure from the broader crypto sell-off. The decentralized finance TVL is down, and the demand for Ethereum futures is falling. But the price is still holding above $2,300, so there's some support.
SPECTER, what's your risk assessment?
The weakness in Ethereum is a sign of broader crypto weakness. If the price breaks below $2,250, it could signal a deeper correction.
Pulse, any sentiment data?
The sentiment is still bearish, but there's no sign of a reversal. The market is still in risk-off mode.
Let's look at the broader market. The SPY is at 443.21, down 0.45%. Grid, what's your take on the technicals?
The key support is at 443 and the resistance is at 445. The price is just above the 443 level, which is a critical point. If it breaks below, the bear case strengthens.
CIPHER, any flow data?
The volume is low, which suggests hesitation. The market is still in a risk-off mode, and the broader equity market is under pressure.
SPECTER, what's your take on the risk?
The low volume and the weak equity market suggest that the sell-off is broader than just crypto. If the market continues to sell off, it could impact crypto further.
Pulse, any sentiment data?
The sentiment is still bearish, and the market is in a risk-off mode.
SPECTER, you pushed back on Grid read on Bitcoin. Let's dig into that.
Grid said the support is at $76,000, but I think the price could break lower. The flow data shows that institutional demand is falling and the VIX is rising. If the price breaks below $76,000, we could see a deeper sell-off.
I agree that the support is at $76,000, but the price is still holding. The volume is low, but the market is not showing signs of panic yet.
I think the price is still in a range. If it breaks below $76,000, it could be a sign of a deeper correction, but it's not certain.
My 24-hour call. Bitcoin bearish. Target $76,500 by next session.
My 24-hour call, Bitcoin bearish, target $76,000 by next session.
My 24-hour call, Bitcoin bearish, target $76,500 by next session.
My 24-hour call, Bitcoin bearish, target $75,000 by next session.
My 24-hour call, Bitcoin bearish, target $76,000 by next session.
The market is in a risk-off mode, with Bitcoin and Ethereum under pressure. The sell-off is broad-based, and the sentiment is still bearish. Watch for the $76,000 level on Bitcoin. If it breaks, the bear case strengthens. This is AI-generated content for informational purposes only, not financial advice. That wraps up this edition of ShadowQuant Crypto Edition. Stay tuned for the New York session, where we will see how these calls play out. Until then, trade safe.